This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the afternoon show. We got a big show for you today. We're here with Logan Landers and Big Glenn and Chris Gonzalez and myself, Tony Gonzalez. We're going to break down a lot of football for you. We're going to start off with college football today. The first game we're going to break down is the Oregon Ducks defeating USC 42-27. Oregon had 436 total yards of offense, 179 yards rushing. USC did pretty good, 382 yards of offense, 330 yards passing. That's the most by far that Oregon's give up this year. But USC's defense is just not up to par yet to play, I think, with the bigger teams, even though they've made some big improvements. USC is a pretty good team. Chris, your thoughts on this Oregon victory against USC?
That was a big win for Oregon. I mean, they're in a position where if they lose, they're probably going to would have fell out of the playoffs. Even though I still think they're a better team than what they got them ranked. But everybody kind of got sour on them after they lost to IU. Oregon outplayed them in the first half, and then the second half, the USC defense played a little bit better, and USC played Oregon basically even. Both teams scored like 7 points each quarter. But that first half, Oregon got 14 in the first quarter, 14 in that second quarter, and then USC just wasn't able to recover. But yeah, I thought their defense played better. USC's defense played better in the second half. A big win for Oregon now if they take care of business against, I believe, Washington this Saturday. They're going to be a playoff team.
Okay, Logan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by the outcome. I knew it was going to be kind of a close matchup, and we know that USC, they have a lot of good talent on that program. They came in as a top 25 ranked opponent, so we know that they have had a better season compared to the last few, but they're kind of one Achilles heel that we've seen time and time again with the USC Trojans is their defense. Just like I said, not up to par against a very good, obviously, Oregon team with the Ducks. And we know all the great offensive firepower they have over there on offense. And we know the job that Dan Lanning has done and maintaining Oregon as a top team, always in that top 10, always fighting for championships in the college football playoffs now. As it's seemingly just an open gate to it there. Just keep winning the way you have been, and they're at least guaranteed a spot. For USC, like I said, a good opponent. Had some things you could work on, like you said, that second half. Much better for them as a team defensively. Just offensive, like I said, 27 points, still not bad against a very good team in Oregon, but just not enough, unfortunately. The firepower for Oregon's offense, just too much for the Trojans' defense. And as for Oregon, they keep moving on. For USC, go back to the drawing board, see what you can fix as you hope to end the season on a high note.
And Big Glenn.
Not surprised, especially with USC's offense. They just couldn't keep up on the defensive side of the ball to keep Oregon was scoring, so that's pretty much my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. I didn't think USC could keep up, and that's what it was. But USC is vastly improved. Next game up, guys, is number 8 Oklahoma taking on number 22 Missouri. Oklahoma won this game 17-6. Oklahoma had 276 total yards of offense, so not a lot of offense. 103 yards rushing. Missouri had 301 total yards of offense. They did get sacked 4 times and had 2 turnovers that were big in this game. Oklahoma's defense is really carrying this team the last couple of games. So your thoughts on this game, Logan?
I thought this was kind of an ugly game of sorts, like you said. I mean, kind of a stalemate back and forth. Like it's a good defense if you enjoy watching that. And for the Sooners, like I said, they continue their good run here. And I still think, too, that since John Mateer, because we know he did go down earlier in the year with an injury, he still hasn't, to me, gotten his form back prior to that injury. Because let's not forget, before he was injured, he was an early favorite for Heisman. A lot of people were looking at him and his game, and rightfully so, the numbers he's put up. But he did have a good performance in this one, had 2 touchdowns, pretty conservative, 173 yards on offense, no interception, so you love to see that. But overall, good win for the Sooners. Gutsy win as well. A couple of key plays, big plays that they had to really kind of put them over the top. But we knew Missouri, they've always been a formidable opponent in the SEC, always kind of a tough look. It's never going to be a cakewalk anytime we face the Tigers, and they proved that against Oklahoma. Just wasn't able to muster any offense on their side. Like I said, only got 6 points, not even the way of a touchdown in that regard. But quarterback play just struggled for Missouri. 2 interceptions. That'll hurt you, obviously. And just a couple of things. Like I said, if you could have fixed a handful of things throughout the game, might have turned out a different way. But for the Sooners, they kept it rolling. They look good. Like I said, 4 sacks. The team for them, they were able to get to the quarterback. And overall, just have a good day on defense specifically. Also, had a few big key plays, but other than that, a little stagnant, but still a good win for the Sooners against a top 25 ranked team plus an SEC opponent. We'll take it this late in the season.
Yeah, I agree. Big Glenn.
I tell you what, man, Oklahoma's defense, that front defensive line, man, they are just after it. I mean, all we have to do is, ask Arch Manning how that worked out for them in that way. It's just Oklahoma's defense is fantastic. I mean, he held Missouri to 6 points, so anytime that you can hold a team like that to 6 points, as a defense, you've done your job on that day. So.
Okay, Chris, your thoughts?
Game went about how I figured it would go. Oklahoma's defense was able to cause Missouri a lot of trouble. I would like to see what this Missouri team would have looked like if their number 1 quarterback wouldn't have got hurt early in the season. Their number 2 guy was playing pretty good, and then he got hurt and missed some time. I think he might have made it back for this game. I know that he was questionable. But so a lot of times they've been using their 3rd-string quarterback. But I'd like to see with the defense Missouri has, and they've played some teams tough. They ain't been able to get that big win against a ranked opponent. But they've been in some good games with them. I'd like to see what they would have done if they had their quarterback. But yeah, Oklahoma's rides that defense, and then their offense was able to do enough. I think Oklahoma's a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to have enough offense to go on a real deep playoff run against some of the top teams.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unless their defense can get turnovers, I think it'll be tough for them to go a long way. Next game up, guys, is Pittsburgh against number 16 Georgia Tech, and Pittsburgh scored a lot of points, won this game 42-28. Pittsburgh had 412 total yards of offense, 186 yards rushing, but they did get sacked 6 times. But I mean, they put up a lot of points. Georgia Tech, again, 378 yards of total offense, 121 yards rushing, but also had 2 interceptions. Big Glenn, your take on this upset win of Pittsburgh over Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I was actually honestly quite surprised that Georgia Tech dropped this to Pittsburgh the way they did. I was starting to expect Georgia Tech, to sneak into the playoffs the same way that SMU did last season. So, and with them dropping this game to Pittsburgh, it does not look like that they're going to be a playoff team this year, unfortunately. But, big ups to Pittsburgh on getting the job done.
Logan, your thoughts on this upset win?
You're muted.
There we go. Much better. If I had $1 every time I did that, I'd be a rich man. But no, I think that with Pittsburgh, I'm not honestly too surprised that this happened. If you look at how Georgia Tech had played in recent weeks, they had struggled. Now that they have dropped 2 of their last 3 bowl games they had. We know they barely won the game the other week. So they had been kind of testing fate, and it's burned them now. And look, the one thing that obviously has dipped off as the year's gone on is the defensive play. And obviously that's apparent whenever you give up not just 42 points, but you give up half of that just in the first quarter with 21 points. Yeah. So anytime you put yourself in that big of a hole, it's still tough to come out of. And so, I mean, obviously, if you give up that amount of points in the first quarter, just couple that on with the defense still can't stop anything. And then your offense finally gets going in the fourth when you put up 14. Still just a little bit too late. And unfortunate for Georgia Tech, who had and it still is really having a good season compared to what they have been up to the last couple of years. But we know what happened last year against Georgia, who's their next opponent. They went 8 overtimes. They lost, but it's still 8 overtimes with a Georgia team who was still in the top 10 ranked at that point. And here we are once again. Georgia Tech's even better this year, at least for numbers-wise. And for Georgia, they're still dominating like we've seen. But I expect a great matchup next week, of course, for the rivalry matchup. But for Pittsburgh, good win for the Panthers as they keep moving up. And I know they obviously are bowl eligible, but just right now trying to end the way on a high note and end it on a winning manner and go into the bowl game against whoever it may be and end the season there and, with your head held high at the end of the season. But for Tech, we'll see if they can bounce back against Georgia. It's a tough one, but overall still a really successful season, just an unfortunate blip in the road.
Hey, before you go, Gonzo, I'm going to ask Logan this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that with Georgia Tech being better, do you take this game against Georgia will go to 16 overtimes?
if it does, then I don't know who else is going to be there at the end of that. My God, that game went on until the wee hours of the night. But I don't know if we're going to get that once again. And also that game is going to be played at Mercedes-Benz, which is where the Falcons play. So they've upgraded the stadium seating for it, and rightfully so. Down here, it's a big rivalry. Obviously, 2 teams from Georgia going at it, so that'll be a good matchup. Obviously, and I am not going to the city that day. You cannot pay me enough to drive in Atlanta traffic during a game like that. There is no way in hell.
Chris, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Pittsburgh pretty much dominated this game from the start. Jumped out on them big. Pittsburgh's a lot of people I think forget Pittsburgh still has a lot to play for. Pittsburgh beats Miami on Saturday. They make the ACC championship game, and if they pull off a win against Virginia and that, they're in the playoffs. So I mean, they still have a chance that they could be the team out of the ACC to make the playoffs, because there's no way Miami's in big trouble. There's no way they can make the championship game. So I mean, even if they beat Pittsburgh this weekend, they still can't make the ACC championship game because they have 2 losses in the conference, and there's 3 teams that only have 1 loss in the conference. SMU is ahead of Miami of trying to make the ACC championship game. So I think Miami's chances of making the playoffs are real slim. I don't think Miami makes them, because whoever wins this conference is going to get that spot for the ACC, and I don't think with Miami's losses that they're going to get in at an at-large bid. But yeah, Pitt, they looked a lot better. They didn't look good at all against Notre Dame the week before, but they came out and played like they'd been playing most of the season. I think that kind of shows that Notre Dame's a lot better than what a lot of people think as well, especially if you look at what Notre Dame done to Syracuse over the weekend. But and the way they dominated Pittsburgh, and then look what Pittsburgh was able to do to Georgia Tech. So I think Notre Dame's a little underrated, but yeah, I was impressed with the way Pittsburgh bounced back after that big loss to Notre Dame, and they put themselves in prime position. If they can win a game this Saturday, they're in the conference championship.
Yeah, Chris. Speaking of that, I think Miami's what they're going to have. They're going to need help. They're going to need a team like Alabama, Oklahoma to lose. One of those teams to lose a game. Like if Auburn, you got a big rivalry game. I know Alabama's going to be favored, but it's going to be at Auburn. If Alabama was go to a 3-loss, that could put them out possibly. I'm not saying it will for sure. If Oklahoma was to get upset and lose a game, that could put them out. So Miami's going to have to win out and get some help, I think. I kind of agree with you. That's the only way they're going to get in probably. Let's go to the last game that we had to go over. BYU defeating Cincinnati 26-14. This was a little bit of a surprise. I know BYU's ranked 11th. I don't think that their schedule is super great, but I thought Cincinnati had a shot at them, but BYU had 392 yards of total offense, 265 yards on the ground, and they controlled the time of possession of 38 minutes, guys. So, and Cincinnati still wasn't completely out of the game. It was close for a big part of the game. They had 387 yards of total offense, 300 yards passing, but they had 2 turnovers that kind of killed them. Chris, your thoughts on this game?
Excuse me. This game went a lot like I expected because I actually picked BYU to win this game. Since Cincinnati just couldn't get couldn't get no rhythm on offense. Their young quarterback, that Sorsby, who is talented and I think is going to be real good, but he's just not consistent enough yet. And BYU was able to play BYU football. They was able to run the football, control the clock, and that's what they like to do. But yeah, BYU's a good football team. I think they're ranked a little higher than what they should be. I'd like to see them against some because look what happened when they played Texas Tech, which we might get a rematch of that again. But yeah, no, BYU looked good. It's pretty. I watched quite a bit of that game. It's a pretty good football game, really.
And Big Glenn, your thoughts?
I figured Cincinnati was going to win, but I figured they would have kept it at least a little bit closer. I mean, they did, but I was more surprised with BYU going to Cincinnati and winning on the road because it goes back to what Tony was saying about their schedule.
I'll tell you one thing. You almost had to watch that fucking game on mute because RG3 is terrible as a commentator. Oh my God. It was horrible. I ended up muting the TV and turning it down because I was tired of listening to him.
I was ready to mute the TV during the Colts game.
Oh, Tony Romo was terrible as well.
We'll get to that later. And it was more of what he was talking about with Mahomes. Some of the stuff on the Colts too. But yeah, we'll get to that later. Logan, your thoughts on this BYU game?
Hey man, LJ Martin better not pay for any dining expenses for the rest of the season with the performance he had. You mentioned they had 265 yards of rushing offense. Martin was responsible for 222 yards of offense. Just on the ground alone, 2 touchdowns. Like you mentioned, time possession, obviously, if you carry the ball 30 plus times, get 200 plus yards, math does itself right there. And for BYU, a methodical win, a solid win against a very game Cincinnati team who very easily could have upset them. But we know BYU's defense also is no joke. They've faced some tough opponents, and outside, of course, we know the one blemish they've had at Texas Tech. They've been up to that task. For the offense for BYU, it's kind of a, who is it this week? Is it going to be Bear Bachmeier? Is it going to be LJ Martin this week? It was Martin doing his thing. And we know how good BYU's been. Like I said, strict schedule. Some people say it's a little bit weak, but hey, it is what it is. And they've gotten these games. They've won them. And in a just absolutely loaded Big 12, you need all the wins you can get. So we'll see how it goes for the Cougars. But for Cincinnati, still a valiant effort, but just not quite enough. And like Chris said, to go off of that, Sorsby, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bearcats, bright future, just a couple things to work on, but definitely something to keep your eyes out on if you're looking for quarterback talents. I think he's definitely going to be there for a couple of years.
Okay, guys, let's move on to some NFL. Let's go to the first game. Let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs against the Indianapolis Colts. Kansas City won this game 23-20. Tough loss for the Colts. Colts led this whole game right down to pretty much the end of the fourth, and got tired up and went to overtime and lost the game. KC had 494 yards of total offense, had 148 yards rushing. Colts only had 255 yards of offense and had a couple of turnovers. I think, KC had the turnovers, not the Colts. But the big thing for me was the fourth quarter. With about 9 minutes left in the game, the Colts were still up 20-9. So they were still in control of the game. We only got 18 yards of offense in the fourth quarter to Kansas City's 200 yards. So Kansas City's defense stepped up, and their offense stepped up at the right time. Colts played pretty good game defensively for the most part. I mean, you had them only 9 points, into the fourth quarter. So they played pretty well. But Kansas City got the passing game going in the fourth quarter, and that's the defense. That's the difference. And KC's defense stepped up. So a big win for Kansas City. Not a terrible loss for the Colts, but the Colts have got a tough schedule left and have to figure things out a little bit. But still confident in the Colts to do well, make the playoffs. Chris, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Colts played perfect really for about 3 quarters, and then for some reason we decided that the only way we decided that we wanted to prove that we could beat the Chiefs by throwing the fucking ball. We ran the ball one time in the fourth quarter. You have the best running back in the league on your team, or if you want to say one of the best, and you ran the ball one. You're up by 11 points going in that fourth quarter, and you run the ball one time. We had 3 possessions in that fourth quarter, and we went 3 and out on all 3 of them, and ran the ball one time. It didn't make no sense. He had 18 carries throughout the game. 16 of the carries was in the first half. Like, for some reason, at halftime, we came out and decided we were going to throw the ball no matter what, and it bit us in the ass in the fourth quarter because we went 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Then defense got tired because they were on the field the whole fourth quarter, and then Kansas City was able to score some points and able to come back and tie the game up. But yeah, I thought the play calling, especially in that fourth quarter and even overtime, fourth quarter and overtime was terrible. You get the ball in overtime, you take the ball first. If you're going to take the ball first, you got to try to keep the ball and move down the field. What we do, 3 quick passes. Ran the ball one time, and that was on the 3rd and 1, and got stopped and had to punt the ball. Like, I just didn't like the play calling at all. But it's stuff that could be fixed. Yeah, we just had to clean that up. I didn't think Jones played terrible. Wasn't getting sacked a lot. Penalties hurt us too. A lot of penalties. Referees were few calls went against us that were terrible, but that wasn't what cost us the game. I mean, hell, you can't even hit Patrick Mahomes or they throw a fucking flag. Like, the dude laid him down on the ground and they call it roughing the passer. And that really they wouldn't have got points on that drive. They end up getting a field goal on that drive. So I mean, really, it did affect us because. But, I mean, there was a couple of them. And I'll tell you what, Patrick Mahomes is one of the most aggravating players to watch play. The dude's a big-ass crybaby. If you watch after every play, that dude was whining and asking for a flag after every play. But Colts just have to clean it up a little bit. I think Steichen got away from our game plan there, especially in that fourth quarter, and it came back to hurt us. Because if you look, like, Mahomes hadn't completed a pass to a wide receiver at all going into the fourth quarter. Like, all the completions was either the running back or a tight end. We shut everything outside down. But when your defense is on the field the whole second half, they're eventually going to wear out. Like, Chiefs know what they needed to do. They possessed the ball, and we didn't. So, yeah, tough loss. We just got to get ready for Houston this weekend.
Okay. Big Glenn, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Chiefs bias is real as far as Patrick Mahomes is concerned, but I felt we got away from what made it successful, in the first half was the play calling. And when you're up pretty much any amount of points in the fourth quarter like that, why are we throwing the ball? It doesn't make any sense. The play calling, like I said, somebody left a comment in my post yesterday and was pretty much realized that's what it was. The play calling was not smart down the stretch, and it allowed the Chiefs to do what they do and come up from behind and pretty much took the game from us.
Well, especially the last drive of the fourth quarter. There's 5 minutes left in the game. You get the ball, and you don't run the ball one time.
Yeah,
you run the ball so they use their timeouts. You run the ball, try to get a first. You run the ball, force them to use their timeouts because they're going to want to try to keep clock. Then when they got the ball back, they wouldn't have had those 3 timeouts. It could have been that could have affected it. Like, the strategy in the fourth quarter was just terrible.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
You're up by 3 with 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You run the ball, make them use their timeouts. Like, that's just basic football.
Yeah, it's basic football, and those are the kind of things that make you scratch your head. Like, what the hell, It's like, but we got a chance to right some wrongs in that way. So I'm looking forward to going up against Jacksonville and Houston. So we if we sweep one of those 2 teams, man, we're probably going to win the division. So.
Okay, next up, Logan, your thoughts on this? It was actually a pretty good football game to watch, honestly.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. It just
Game of the
sucked how it ended.
week, besides the other one.
Yeah, and this was a good performance. And for Patrick Mahomes, like I said, a good day overall. Like I said, 300 plus passing yards. You'll take that. No touchdowns, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I know fantasy owners are probably just thrilled at seeing that, all those yards, but still couldn't get in for 6. I will say this, though, kind of the hidden reason that I don't think we've mentioned yet why KC won. Kareem Hunt had a season high for yards. He had 100 plus yards on the ground, 30 carries, had a touchdown as well. Helped control the game for KC as they were trying to, like I said, battle back into it. And like I said, that fourth quarter was obviously the game changer when they put up 11 compared to nothing for Indy. That was obviously the big factor that you guys have already mentioned. I'm not going to go back over it, but I think that for the Chiefs, for them, honestly, a big win. They needed that because we know the West. It with Denver right there, we know that the Chargers are always going to be a good fight, and the Raiders or whatever. But they need a good win, and good for them overall. As for Indy, like I said, you guys put up a hell of a fight. Things you look back on, things you can reflect on, moving ahead to this week. But y'all are still in good position, obviously, in where y'all are at. I think you guys can right the wrongs that you had this week, fix a couple things in practice, saying, okay, we were here, we should have been over here, and maybe get back on track next week. But tough loss overall. Probably should have gotten in the win column, but that's just not the way it works sometimes. For all of our teams we see from time to time. But for Indy, hey, still keep your head high. Good game overall, but KC just a little bit better.
Yeah. You know what? One thing that you think it should have happened but didn't is New England's beating the shit out of the Bengals, so.
Next game up, guys. Dallas had a fantastic comeback and defeated Philadelphia 24-21. Before we go over this game, let me ask you guys a question. Which would be the worst loss? Indy led the whole game and lost 23-20. Philadelphia was up 21-0 and lost the game. Which is the worst loss?
For me, I'm going to go Philadelphia only because this is a rivalry game. This is a matchup in your division. And we already know this team's kind of been imploding, it seems like, for weeks on end. And to blow a lead like that against, like I said, this is a divisional opponent. You need all those wins you can get. I think it's the worst loss because it keeps with that snowball effect of, well, you have A.J. Brown talking to the media saying, I don't want to be here. And then we all know all the other teams in the league, they always talk about the tush push and just more and more attention on the Eagles, more and more eyeballs on them, which also is fair for more and more criticism, both on and off the field. And we saw on the field, it just didn't work out. They had a collapse, and credit to Dak Prescott, credit to the Cowboys offense and defense. Defense put up a hell of a show. And they were able to pick up their kind of signature win of the season. Now, the reason Jay's not here today isn't because he was out all last night partying and happy with the win. But this was a huge win for the Cowboys. I felt like if they lost this one, a lot of people would have really just kind of thrown onto the bus and said, all right, let's wrap this year up. There's no point. But it seems like, as always, they find a win, and the Cowboys fans are still here saying, this is our year. We're going to win it all. Good win for the Cowboys. Can't knock them for that.
Yep. I think it's a worse loss for Philadelphia, being the fact that they were up 21-0. If the Colts were up 21-0 and would have lost that game to Kansas City, I would have been even more upset. So yeah, I think it was Philadelphia. Yeah, the big win for Dallas: 473 yards total offense, 123 yards rushing, 2 turnovers. Philadelphia had 339 total yards of offense, only 63 yards rushing. And some of the big keys why Philadelphia lost this game: 14 penalties, two turnovers, and then the other thing for me was Dallas, man, was physical on both sides of the ball in the second half. I mean, they were hitting and they were hitting hard. I haven't seen Dallas's defense play like that all year. Not that physical. That second half, they were physical. So I think that's why Dallas got the win. Chris.
Yeah, I think the Eagles' loss was worse, but because you had the 21-point lead basically at halftime, and then you blow it. But what cost the Eagles was the turnover. Like the Saquon fumble there, and then you get a turnover, and then boom, you fumble it right back to him, or you make him punt, and then you fumble the punt and give it right back to him. It was just so much different shit happened in that game. But the Eagles are just not consistent. Like they played first half, their offense looked real good. Second half, their offense couldn't do nothing. But you were right. Dallas came out a lot more physical in the second half, and they controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball in the second half, and was able to make the plays to win. Tell you what, George Pickens is making himself a lot of money this year.
Yep.
We know he lost them in Vegas, but he's going to get it back.
Yep, he is. He is. I agree. Big Glenn, your thoughts on this game?
This was a great game by the Cowboys, a complete team effort. And Tom Brady said best, we're still here. The Cowboys are still here. And the only reason why I'm saying that because Frankie Cruz Jr. is here. I'm going to pass that to Frankie.
First of all, Glenn, don't ever say my name government on the podcast again. All right, when we're on the podcast, you see the name. You respect the name. You love the name, and you live the name, all right? I'm going to say this loud and clear. Loud and clear. And I don't care how happy the Dallas Cowboy fans are. Right now, you could call me Stephen A. Frank, all right? Because that's what I'm feeling like. Howdy, y'all, howdy. I don't care about that win. Listen, it is a big shocker, worse than the Colts upset loss, because the boys are right. The Eagles were up 21-0. But I'm not gonna knock the fact that yes, Tony's right. The Dallas Cowboys defense has stepped it up in the second half. But we are not gonna overlook all the men in that defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. How many players went down in that entire second half? One by one. They lost about 6 players in the second half alone on the defense, including 2 of their safeties. So of course they're gonna attack the pass with George Pickens, who absolutely is. Chris is right. He's having a dog season. The man is getting a paycheck. He's making sure next year he either becomes a long-term wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, or he's going to become one of the highest paid wide receivers in free agency, whoever picks him up. But I'm not gonna sit here and praise you, Dallas Cowboy fans. Jay's lucky he's not here. Him and his little call my schedule Charmin Ultra. Listen, you faced the Charmin Ultra defense last night in the second half. You were quiet the entire first half. Every single Dallas Cowboy fan was quiet in the first half. Why? Because the defense didn't get hurt yet. They were annihilating Dak Prescott in that offense of the Dallas Cowboys. Then the second half come out, and they lose players left and right like it's nothing. And now all of a sudden, the Cowboys had a really good second half coming back and winning it. Don't overlook the fact, and we said it many times, that when the Eagles defense is trash and hurt, this is what happens. And we seen it last night, clear as day, that the defense was getting hurt one by one. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys came back, and they ended up winning. But I guarantee you, if they didn't get hurt, Logan, Tony, Chris, and I'm not going to mention Glenn because he's confused on life, not knowing which team to be a fan of. All right? I guarantee you the Cowboys would have never won this game if all those players didn't get hurt one by one in the second half.
That's a fair point. That's a good possibility.
Hey, I got a question for everybody real quick. Which one do you guys think made Jay happier? The Texans getting a win on Thursday night, or the Cowboys winning yesterday?
Texans.
That's what
Cowboys.
I think.
I'm gonna say Cowboys.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll say Cowboys.
We saw, but Jay is banned from all Houston sporting events now after going to the Cougars game this past weekend.
Yeah,
Their loss ultimately. So, Jay McLovin, the wanted man outside of all Houston-based sports complexes.
Yep. Yeah, he's feeling good. Houston and Dallas had a good week, so he's feeling good. Guys, let's move on to the next game. Chicago Bears over Pittsburgh, 31-28. Chicago had 328 total yards of offense, 99 yards rushing. Had 2 turnovers though. Pittsburgh, 345 yards total offense, 186 yards rushing. Also had 2 turnovers and controlled the ball 33 minutes. Man, the Bears, they're just finding a way to win games. It ain't pretty. They're winning ugly, but they just find a way to win games. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, the Bears might be the luckiest team in the NFL so far this season. It seems like the ball seems to bounce the right way for them at critical moments in games, and they figure it out. Because watching that, what I watched that game yesterday, really the Steelers should have won that game. The Steelers don't turn the ball over a couple times. That'd help. But even with having Mason Rudolph as a quarterback, with the rush, with the way they were able to run the ball, which they've kind of struggled running the ball this year, they got the run game going. But and then you turn the ball over once, or no, we had one turnover, one interception. Both teams had 2 turnovers.
Yes.
Pittsburgh won the time of possession. Like Pittsburgh should have won this game, but Bears have been finding ways to pull some wins out, and got a big win for them. And looks like they might have a good shot of winning that division because the Packers are struggling big time offensively right now. Minnesota don't have a quarterback. It don't look like right now. So, and I don't know what's going on in Detroit. I mean, Detroit came back and got that win in overtime, but the Lions aren't looking like the Lions. So, Bears are going to be right there with the chance.
Logan, your thoughts?
Once I heard that Aaron Rodgers is going to be out for this game, I thought that the Bears would kind of, in a way, walk away with it. But credit to Pittsburgh for kind of rallying around Mason Rudolph and putting up a hell of a fight. Like you said, Chicago, they've just kind of seemingly found different ways to win each week, as they're on now a 4-game winning streak. Important to note there, quarterback Caleb Williams, in those 4 games, in the past 4 games on the winning streak they had, no interceptions, but he does have 7 touchdowns. So he's getting it done. He's helping his team out. Like, so the numbers might not be eye-popping per se, but he's keeping them involved. He's getting everyone some good touches on the receiving core and then the tight end room. Special teams game, they're working hard too. And it's just going right for Chicago right now. And a really good, kind of comeback for that franchise who they've been in the mud for years now. So glad to see our boy Mike Hughes is glad to see his team, the Bears, looking good out there. But I'm surprised with Pittsburgh. We know they have a good squad, but just wasn't quite enough. Like I said, the running game really helped out, keeping them close with a collection of players helping out there. But another good win for Chicago. So they keep their winning streak going on and hope to keep it at least close like there in the North, like you said, with Detroit having kind of an off year. They are winning, but they're not kind of dominating like we've seen in years past. So Chicago still keeping their hopes alive out there in the North.
Frankie, your thoughts on this one?
Man, I'm liking it. I love it. I knew that once Aaron Rodgers was going to be out, that the Steelers are going to lose this game. It was actually closer than I expected. Like Logan said, I thought the Bears were going to walk away with this, like, no problem. I was expecting Caleb Williams to have a great game. But then you also got to look at it like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers could be down, but that defense, that captain on that defense, Mr. TJ Watt, who now has the most sack in Watt family history, man, you cannot overlook that defense. But it was a great win for the Chicago Bears. I want to answer Chris real quick. The reason what's going on with the Lions, Chris, is they lost Ben Johnson. They lost Aaron Glenn. They lost those coordinators, and now they don't look to get the same anymore. And then you look at what Ben Johnson's doing with the Bears. He turned that offense around, and that's what the Bears needed. They needed an offensive-minded coach in that system. They kept getting defensive-minded coaches. That wasn't the problem. It was the offense. They got the guy, and now everything looks good. But don't overlook the fact that, Detroit does have a win over the Bears. They got to play them one more time, and the Bears do have to play the next, I think, how many weeks ago? I think we got 6 more games. In the next 6 games, the Bears still have to play the Packers twice. So, I mean, and we do know, yeah, the Packers don't look good, but for some reason, we've always seen many times where the Packers don't look good, but they end up beating the Bears every time. That's like a kryptonite for the Chicago Bears. So keep in mind that, yeah, the Bears are on top right now, but you got one more game against the Lions, who Ben Johnson lost to in the beginning of the season, possibly could lose again, and then you got the Packers twice. So, I mean, good win on Chicago. It's a great feeling right now. But don't get too excited yet because you got more tough games coming up soon.
Okay, Big Glenn?
I tell you what, man, with Swift going down with that injury, man, they seem to find a good replacement in Monogamy or whatever, however you pronounce his name. Great running back. I think he's a rookie, right? Like they have found a way to keep winning. I do think that they won the NFC North, man. I think it'll come down to the last game, like it usually does, and I think they'll get it done by a hair.
Okay, guys, let's move on to the New England Patriots beating Cincinnati 26-20. New England had 392 yards of total offense, 170 yards rushing. Did have one turnover, controlled the game with 33 minutes of time possession. Cincinnati had 307 yards of total offense. Rushed the ball pretty good against New England. Surprised me a little bit, 120 yards rushing. Both teams had a turnover. Frankie, let's go to you. How do you think your team performed this week? Got another win. How you think they performed?
I give this one a C. Honestly, as a New England Patriot fan, I'm gonna have to give this a C on the win. I take the win. It's an amazing win. 10-2 on the year, first team to 10 wins. It's an amazing feeling. But we also lost this game, guys. We lost this game. We lost our rookie tackle Will Campbell. We also lost our guard. Not for the season. I did hear Will Campbell today has a MCL sprain. Probably going to be out for the regular season. Possibly be back for playoffs. And the same thing goes for our tackle. So we won and lost in this game, but I can see that my boys are tired. My boys are tired. We're 12 weeks into the season, yet having to go to a bye week. We got one more game on Monday against the Giants, and then we finally get our bye week on week 14. So I mean, they're desperately holding on and waiting for that bye week, and I can see it. That all my boys are tired, man. But you know what? The fact that we come out and we squeak a win away from the Bengals in Cincinnati, staying perfect 6-0 on the road. It's a big plus, and I'm liking what these boys are doing. I don't care what everybody says, soft schedule or not. I don't give a damn. I don't care. We take the win. It ain't our fault that we got a soft schedule. Thank Gerard Mayo for giving us 4 wins last year. That's what you got to do. But yeah, we're just tired and we need that bye week, boys. That's all we need. I can see that Drake May is getting tired. The Lion is getting tired. Defense is going down one by one. We need to get that rest.
Yeah, Frankie, I didn't know about the injuries. That concerns me a little bit, but I'll tell you what, I said it earlier. I don't know if you heard it, but I think New England is going to be in the AFC Championship game. I really do. I think their schedule. I mean, it is what it is. They're playing their schedule, they're winning their games. They're going to probably get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and I think they're going to be in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the AFC Championship as well, Tony. Honestly, and people might think I'm crazy. But listen, right now I'm not that right now is not even in my focus. My focus is getting Buffalo one more time and locking in the AFC East. Let's lock that down first, because Denver had a bye week. We didn't have our bye week yet, so anything could change in that first seed or by the end of the year.
Yep.
So right now I'm just focused on getting the AFC East, and if we can make it to the championship, which I think we can, because we've proven that we can beat good teams. We beat the Bills, we beat the Bucks when they were good. So I mean, we can do it. I believe that we can beat the Chiefs. I know you guys didn't, but if you guys held them 20-9, and Daniel Jones sucked in the fourth quarter, I mean, I think we could beat the Chiefs. But and then we also got the Ravens this year before the season ends, so that's going to be another one as well. A team that started 1-5 and now they're in the first place spot. So I mean, we could see them in the playoffs. Who knows? But if we get home field advantage and get our boys back from injury by playoff time, because they're not on season-ending injuries, they're just going to be out for the couple weeks. Probably wait till playoffs and get healthy. I feel strong and confident in my boys.
Okay, Chris, your thoughts?
It's a good win. The game was closer than what I thought it would be going into it. But then if you stop and think about it, and then you go back and look, since the Bengals made that trade for Joe Flacco, almost all their games have been one possession games, other than one. Like they've been in a lot of close games since they got Flacco and not Browning. They got blew out those couple games that Browning started. And when they got Flacco, I think they've really only had one blowout loss, and that was their last loss to Pittsburgh, which they beat Pittsburgh the other time with Flacco. So I know Bengals don't have a great record, but they've been a competitive team. defense just can't make no play, no plays to really stop anybody. Their defense played a little bit better yesterday, but I thought it was a solid win for the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good win. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to step out. So Logan, let you go next and let you take over the show because I have to pick up a grandson.
All
So
right.
I will see everybody tomorrow.
All
Yep.
right.
See you
Sounds
tomorrow,
good,
Tony. Have a good one.
All right. So, guys, let me get my thoughts here real quick on the Patriots and Bengals before we wrap it up here with our final game here from the NFL. So, hey, Frankie, you got it done, buddy. You guys, they took care of business. Wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. You'll take it nonetheless. As for the Bengals, as for Zach Taylor, as for the rest of that coaching staff, it's looking bleak. And look, I know Joe Burrow's out. Obviously, we know Jamar Chase didn't play due to his suspension. They kept it close, but Cincinnati, they've been expected to be better than this for a while now at this point. We know we always talk about, they went to the Super Bowl nearly 5 years ago at this point. Let's not forget that. Joe Burrow's been out. There was rumors earlier in the week that he might play. I thought it made no sense for him to. This is why it's good to have a good backup quarterback on your team. And look, I get Joe Flacco. He's serviceable. He's been around the league for a long time. Obviously, we know Jake Browning was not happy whenever that trade went down that Chris had mentioned earlier. But right now, they're just in a tough spot for Cincy. Their O-line just continues to just falter, and they can't get it done. As for New England, gutsy win. There wasn't, you look at the stat sheet. Drake May, he got job done, but it wasn't like he threw for hundreds of yards and 4 touchdowns, no receptions, nothing crazy like that. But is team win, and you need that sometimes to keep it going and to build on a good season like Patriots have. So overall gutsy effort picking up the win yesterday. In the final game here, we're going to talk about.
Hold up, Logan. You guys get me on the Patriots thing.
Go ahead. How can I forget you, Glenn? How can I forget you, Glenn?
Yeah, it's all good, man. So here's the thing. As much as Jay likes to joke about the Patriots schedule being soft as hell, at the end of the day, beat the hell is in front of you in that way. Is how I see it. Patriots got it done. It wasn't pretty, but when it comes to winning the AFC East and putting the Patriots back up on that pedestal for those Patriots fans, because we know that as far as the Bills are concerned, on borrowed time, they're probably gonna be the number 1 seed. That being the Patriots. So.
Yep, and we will see what happens as we edge closer and closer towards the end of the regular season. One team that's already at the end of their regular season basically is the Las Vegas Raiders. They're lost 24-10. Shedeur Sanders picking up the W in his official start debut with Cleveland. In that game, Cleveland, like I said, they got the win. Sanders finished 11-20, 209, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, sacked 1 time as well. They got the win. I'm not surprised. My team sucks. Chip Kelly's out of there, thank God. And I hope we can score at least 14 points next week. That's all I have. I'm going to hand the ball off now. Let's go to Big Glenn. Are you in the same mindset, Glenn, of a lot of people I see and just praising Shedeur Sanders in his debut?
I mean, he got to win his first start in the NFL. I mean, it was against the Raiders, though, but, it's the NFL. Yeah. So it's one of those kind of things, man. As far as your Raiders are concerned, man, can y'all even score double digits, from here on out? Because, every time I've seen the score of a Raiders game this season, you guys have been stuck on 6 and 9, I mean, I'm not trying to be a joke as far as those numbers are concerned. But you guys are struggling to get to see double digits.
I will say this, Glenn, before we move on to Chris. The Raiders have yet to crack 30 points this season. Highest scoring total, 29 in a 1-point loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars a few weeks ago.
Who do you guys play at the last game of the year?
It could be a high school team for all I care.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is because the
last game of the year is against the Chiefs, so we're probably going to lose that one by about 17.
Yeah.
We got the Chargers next Sunday, 4:25 in San Diego or in Los Angeles rather for that.
Yeah, you guys be like to score 10 on that one.
Chris, what are your thoughts here? Cleveland Browns picking up the W in a Tank Bowl matchup here.
Yeah, the game really went about how I figured it would. The Raiders are just bad. I mean, both teams are bad, but the Raiders are just a little more bad. But I mean, hell, going by what you hear on the radio and on TV today, you would have thought Shedeur Sanders is damn MVP of the NFL, threw for 300 yards. Hell, Shedeur Sanders was the reason that Myles Garrett had 10 sacks or had so many sacks yesterday, and that it was all because of the energy that Shedeur Sanders brought to that team. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, hey, he played all right. He didn't play great. He didn't play, in my opinion, no better than what Dylan Gabriel had been playing for him. They beat the Raiders. Like, calm down. It wasn't like he came in and threw for 300 and something yards. He had like an 80 QBR rating. He done his job. He managed the game, done his job, and they picked up a win. But yeah, the stuff you'd have heard today, you had thought the dude won a Super Bowl yesterday.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been hearing. Frankie, are you in the same boat, or are you just, hey, congrats, Cleveland won, but it wasn't really, Shedeur Sanders stealing the spotlight. He had a good day, won, but he wasn't taking home my Player of the Game trophy.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same spot as Chris. Honestly, like, I have zero tolerance for Shedeur Sanders, and I don't care how good he looked yesterday. I don't care what people think. Oh, look what he did. I told you he's the next thing. You give the guy the reps, and he does this and does that. No, you play the goddamn Raiders. Excuse my language, but you play the Raiders. I'm not trying to even I'm not trying to knock Logan.
I'm in agreement. You don't gotta say
Logan,
anything.
Logan knows his team is bad. So I mean, when you have a fan that is saying himself that his team is bad, are you gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, look what Shedeur Sanders did"? Like, no, this guy right here is telling you his team is bad. His own team is bad, and we're gonna sit here and be like, "Well, Shedeur Sanders had a great game. He had 300 passing yards. He had to do that. He had his daddy there. He had this many touchdowns." I don't give two Fs. I don't care. Listen, they're going to lose Thanksgiving. They're going to lose Thanksgiving, and everybody's going to finally, watch. You're going to see Shedeur Sanders not do what he did yesterday because he's going to be playing a good defense. I don't like Shedeur Sanders. I don't believe in Shedeur Sanders. It's because he played the Raiders. Look, they only scored 10 points. To where the Raiders was like, all right, the hell with this. We got to get rid of Chip Kelly. We got to get rid of the offensive coach that follows Chip Kelly around, because that's what they did today. They fired another coach that follows Chip Kelly around, and then they promote Greg Olson back to the offensive coordinator position for the third time in franchise history, tying with Josh McDaniels as a three-time stunt in one team. So we're making history, Logan. Don't worry. We're doing it together. But then again, don't get too mad that you guys lost to the Cleveland Browns, because your defense is trash, your offense is trash, your coaching is trash, and Shedeur Sanders is truly not that good. So don't Logan, I want you to sit there and not care about what the media is saying about Shedeur Sanders, because it's not true, Logan. All right, he's trash. You know he's trash. You've seen him play in Colorado. You know for a fact that Shedeur Sanders is not going to be nothing. So don't you worry. You'll get your redemption next year when you play the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, Frankie, hold on. Give the man some respect. He has his jersey retired in Colorado, okay? Come on.
No.
You know what the highlight of Shedeur is?
I don't care if you got your jersey. Listen, when you get your jersey retired 1 year after being there, come on. Are you kidding me? That's because your daddy did that. He doesn't want nobody wearing your number anymore. You did nothing special for yourself to get that jersey retired.
You know what my favorite...
Just wait till next week when Gabriel clears concussion protocol and Stefanski starts Gabriel instead.
No, they already.
I will say this.
The Browns already came out and said that Shedeur started next week.
Yep. So Gabriel cleared it, but they're going to roll with Sanders.
And they're playing the 49ers, so I can't wait.
Yeah. Some fun facts about Sanders here real quick, Glenn. So as we know, Cleveland's been through a carousel of quarterbacks since they came back to the league. Sanders is the 42nd quarterback to start for the Browns since 1999. Yes, 42nd. And he was the first Cleveland quarterback to win his first start since, stop me if you know this one here, guys, Eric Zaire in 1995.
Yep,
Yep.
95. I saw that on SportsCenter last night. But yeah, my favorite Shador highlight from this week, and what even of Shador, it was that goofy ass fan from Buffalo or Colorado Buffaloes at the game that was doing that Shador taunt thing that he does, that's silly.
Oh yeah, the
And
wristwatch. Yeah.
yeah, the wristwatch thing and the security tackles the shit out of him. That was my favorite Shador highlight of the weekend.
Oh my god, so stupid. That's like the most
Yeah.
stupid. That's like the most stupidest celebration ever.
Yeah, I know that's why I was like, saying that,
I don't know
No,
what
I
I don't know
understand.
what Deion Sanders was thinking. Like, yeah, my wife is pregnant. Honey, what should we call him? Oh, let's call him Shador. Shador. Let's just call him Shador Sanders. That's just the stupidest name in the world. Shador. That's like calling your son Jason. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay.
He's not even here to defend himself. Come on.
That's not my fault. That's not my fault, Logan.
All right. Well, that was a good recap here, guys. We'll move on to tonight's matchup. We go to Monday Night Football and talk about this matchup we got here. Let me make sure we get everyone. Hold on there we go. All right. So we got NFC South, Carolina Panthers 6-5 going out west to San Francisco, taking on the 49ers, who are 7-4 on the year. Guys, how we feeling about this one? And will Brandon Ayuk even show up or after that whole situation that has happened over the weekend where they've basically null and voided his contract going forward? Let's get kind of, we talked about it earlier with Philadelphia, and they're winning, but you're hearing more off the field distractions. Kind of what we're seeing here with San Francisco. Early on, it was, injuries and whatnot, and now it's, more contract disputes, but still winning. And for Carolina, if you win this matchup, they're going to be first in the NFC South. After we talked about Tampa and how they lost, and Baker Mayfield's been a little bit banged up late in the season. So a lot riding for Carolina here if they win this matchup. For 49ers, they're in third in the West, so you want to win this one, obviously, to keep climbing up the standings in a very tough conference and division. Let's go to Frankie C with your comments here on tonight's game in Levi Stadium.
Yeah, I honestly think it's going to be a good game, honestly. Like, most people probably looking at this and being like, well, I think the 49ers are going to just blow out Carolina. I don't think it's going to happen like that, Logan. I honestly think Carolina is going to be in a tight fight with the 49ers. I think it's going to be about like a 4 to maybe 6 point victory. I am going to give it to the 49ers, but I'm going to give it to them in a close one. I like both defenses. I just like San Francisco's defense a little bit more. I feel like San Fran with Brock Purdy back. We've seen them what they did last week with Brock Purdy back, and they look phenomenal. They like having Brock Purdy back. But I like what Bryce Young is doing this year with Carolina, with how with how weak that division is right now in the NFC West. I do think that, or is it the NFC West? Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, the Panthers in the South.
South. Okay.
Yeah,
South.
49ers in the West.
Yeah, they're in the all right. So the South, the NFC South, with how weak that is, I think Carolina can sneak in there, just not yet. Just not yet.
Yeah, very well could. Let's go to Big Glenn with your thoughts on tonight's game out there in San Francisco.
Yeah, I feel like Carolina's definitely improved a lot more from last year. They had a great game at the end of last season. Bryce Young throwing for 5 touchdowns and stuff like that. So you can see the improvements there. I don't think they're going to beat San Fran. I do feel like they'll keep it under 10 points, within 10 points. San Francisco does get the win. And don't be surprised if Carolina sneaks in as the NFC South champ.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities right there. We know that is a struggling division, no doubt. And, I mean, there's really any team, except for really the Saints at this point, who have a shot at winning that division, even the Falcons, who were 4-7. That's
as
just
tough
the
as
state of the South.
As tough as the NFC West is, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this is like a wild card matchup preview between these two teams.
Yeah, that's not bad. Chris, let's go to what your keys to victory are for these two teams here with San Francisco, who is the favorites, going up against Carolina, who a lot of people feel like this would be a good statement win if they can pull off a win against the 49ers tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think what's going to come down to for the Panthers is are they going to be able to to throw the ball enough. If you look at their offense, they rank 9th in rushing, but they rank like 22nd in passing, and they rank 28th in points scored. So are they going to be able to score enough points? I think it's going to be a close game. I like San Francisco to win the game, but I like Carolina at the plus 7.5. I think San Francisco wins by either 3 or by 7. I think it's going to be a one possession game. Panthers have been playing better here lately. I just don't know if they're going to have enough offensively to keep up with the 49ers, because 49ers offense looked on a little bit of a different level with Purdy back last week. And I'll look for them to getting back into a rhythm, because they have Kittle healthy, Purdy healthy. They're starting to get healthy on the offensive side of the ball, even though they are missing a lot on defense from not having Bosa and Warner. So that worries me a little bit. I think it's going to come down to Dowdle. If Carolina can get Dowdle going, and can possess the ball, keep that 49er offense off the field, I think they'll have a chance. But I think 49ers pull out a close game.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. I think that the Panthers put up a good fight. I wouldn't be too surprised if they won, just with how well they've played here recently. Bryce Young, we know, set a franchise record for passing yards just a few weeks ago. Rico Dowdle has been on a tremendous season-long tear for the most part, pretty much all year long. But I think that, like I said, with San Francisco getting healthier, getting back, they have looked good, and I'll have them getting the win. Like I said, I'll go with 7-point difference in this. So I'll keep it close, but I think they're just a little bit better at this point in time.
If this game was in Carolina, I would probably take the Panthers, because they play a lot better at home than they do on the road as well.
That they do, and we'll see how this one goes on Monday Night Football. All right, well, guys, any final thoughts here? Any other topics you want to cover before we wrap up the show here today? Chris, we'll start with you.
No, that's about all I have. Hopefully we have a good Monday Night Football tonight, and then I'm ready for some football. We get some football almost all week, because I know we don't get no NFL for the next couple of days, but then Thursday, Friday, we have NFL again, and I'm sure there's probably some college on Tuesday and Wednesday, so pretty much get to watch football all week and weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. Thursday's my birthday and Thanksgiving, so I'm going to sit around and get fat and watch some football.
Hey, that's what everyone dreams of. Like, also, glad you mentioned that, Chris. By the way, we're going to be off on Thanksgiving. Obviously, we're not going to be doing a show. We're taking off Thursday to spend time with our families and loved ones on Thanksgiving, but we have all plans to be back on Friday. Chris, I think you're still going to be here, maybe a little hungover after both Thanksgiving as well as celebrating the birthday, but we know we're going to be here nonetheless on that Friday. Big Glenn, anything else you want to talk about? Any events you're going to do here this week? You have anything planned, any other than just holiday festivities?
Just holiday festivities, and looking forward to IU taking care of Purdue to lock that Big Ten title game.
Yeah, good matchups there. And Frankie, anything planned this week? I know you got the kids and whatnot ready for Thanksgiving, so I'm sure you are prepping for a busy week here.
No, I'm just prepping to eat my ass off. That's all. I don't care about the kids. I don't make their plate. I don't spend time with
their own.
I don't
like,
spend time with my family.
The plate's up there. There you go. You know.
I just sit in the living room. I watch football, and I just eat my food and drink my coquito. That's all I do. The hell with the fan. Listen, you want to come to my house? That's cool. Don't expect me to say what's up. It's my day to chill, get fat, get high, get fat more, watch some football, get more high, and then eat some leftovers. That's how it is on Thanksgiving. I'll probably be here Friday. If I'm not here Friday, it's because I'm in a food coma.
Yeah, he's still passed out from the night before.
Sounds like a perfect Thanksgiving to me.
Yeah, run back, getting fat, buddy, like Gucci Mane.
But yeah, other than that, I got nothing else to say besides go Pats, best team in the NFL. Yeah, you heard it here, and go Lakers, baby, second in the West. Let's go.
And there you go. Yeah, I'm about to say y'all are looking good. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit more basketball maybe here a little bit later on in the week. But we appreciate everyone for tuning in here today for the afternoon show on our Monday edition. And once again, we'll be back here on the show tomorrow, same time, same place, 2 o'clock Eastern on the Elite Sports Entertainment Network, as well as on Gonzo Sports Room. You can check all of our channels out in our link tree in the description. Best way to find that, just go into our description, tap on the button. You'll see all of our social media channels, which you can then go to and check out all of the great shows we have here sponsored on the network. So For everyone here on the panel today, myself, along with Foxborough Frankie C, Big Glenn, and Tony and Chris Gonzalez, guys, always fun time talking sports with you here today. And we will see you guys again tomorrow on the Tuesday edition of the After